Hello. All right. Well, okay. Well, welcome everybody to the webinar. We'll just get started. And Misty, if you're here and you can hear us, just type in the chat box and let me know that you're here. Say hello, and we'll get started. So I'm excited to be on this webinar today with Julie, Mastering Your Health webinar by Soul Renewal. I'm Leanna Christensen and Julie Brown Fitness, and Julie is the other amazing person that we're going to hear from today. And we are going to give you the top 10 healthy habits of a fit woman. So it's going to be a really fun webinar today. All right. I just want to start out by asking you a few questions. I just want you to think in your head and answer the questions just in your mind for yourself. So the first question is, how committed are you? Just kind of committed to do it here and there? What is your commitment level? And then the second question I'd like to ask you is, how does your health, if you had one thing that you could improve on, like if there is one thing in your life that you are wanting to improve, if you could improve that, how would it affect everything else that you do? If you could, how would it affect that? So I just want you to kind of think of these questions as we do, as we go on this webinar, and think of the tips when Julie and I are presenting our tips for you. So now I'd like to just give you a few different rules for today as you listen to this webinar. The first rule is respect, and I wanted to go over these. Welcome, Misty. It's good to have you. Okay, so the rules I really want to cover today, we're just going to go over a few while you're listening. The first one is respect, and the reason why I wanted to place this rule is because they keep us safe. And sometimes when we are thinking about our health, we can be critical of ourselves. And in this webinar, that's not allowed. So I just want to ask you to please be respectful of yourself. You know, if you have something about yourself that you don't like, just put that thought out of your mind and replace it with a positive one. Respect yourself, because that will help you achieve your goals. So, and help you move forward. The second one is stay present. So like Julie and I worked so hard and we're so excited to give you all this yummy information. And if you are distracted, then you will not be able to soak in everything that we have to give you, all these exciting tools. So the last thing is to learn with an open mind. Some of these things maybe you've heard before, some of them you haven't. So I just keep in mind, rule number 3 is to learn with an open mind. Keep your mind open to the possibilities of new things, because the only way we're going to change and improve is to be open to new things and try something different. So those are the rules for this webinar today. And now I'd like to introduce Julie Brown. She's amazing. She's actually mentored me a little bit in the last little while here, and I absolutely love what she does. She is a fitness expert. She does the Beachbody programs, and she is amazing as well with nutrition and health, and she has some really awesome tips, and she's been amazing to work with. So Thanks, Julie, for being on the webinar today.
Thank you, Liana. Thanks so much. That's so kind. You're one of the star members when you were in my group, so you put your effort in, and I appreciate that. Not everybody does, so that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you want me to get started?
Yeah, take it away. You're awesome.
Right.
Go for it.
Okay. So my first tip that I want to share with you is the power of accountability. I have found that this is kind of the secret weapon to reaching any goal, really. But with your health and fitness, it really is super powerful. When I started using more accountability, I found that I did better because um, if I have to report to somebody, I'm going to follow through more likely than if I'm not reporting to anybody. I'll be like, I'll get to it tomorrow, or something like that. I don't push myself as much, but if I have to tell somebody, then I will push myself a lot more. Um, so one of my favorite quotes on this is, if I could give you one tip for people, it's not an exercise or nutrition regimen. It's to walk your talk and believe in yourself. Because at the end of the day, the dumbbell and the diet don't get you in shape. It's your accountability to your word. And that was Brett. The reason I like that is because it's true. A dumbbell is an innate object, right? And so is food. It can't do anything for you. It's you that uses that to create that health in your life. So if you view it that way, that it doesn't matter really, about those things, it really matters that if you actually go ahead and use those things to help you and eat the right food and actually do your workouts, those kind of things, because they're not going to do anything for you if you don't use them. Um, so, and then I also like about that it said that um, you need to walk your talk and believe in yourself. You need to follow through with what you said you're going to do. Are you going to follow through, or are you going to do the same thing that you've been doing and say you're going to do something and not live up to it? You have to hold yourself accountable. Sometimes it's easier when you're working with somebody else versus just holding yourself accountable. So in my groups, I run high accountability groups. You are required to report in. I want them to know that it's worth it to actually follow through and do their workouts and nutrition. And the only way to do that is to make sure that to hold them accountable. So 3 things that I teach people to report on daily in my groups is everything that goes into their mouth. So if you eat it, you tell us about it. That way, for example, if you have a problem eating chips and salsa like me or something like that, if you eat it, if I eat that, I have to report it. And so if I have this addiction where I'm going to want to eat it 5 times a day, I'm going to have to tell people, and that's not fun because I know that that's not healthy. And most people know what's healthy and not healthy for the most part. People just know, but they choose the wrong things a lot of times. But if you have to tell somebody, then you're going to think, well, at least this works for me. I think, okay, do I want to tell everyone that I ate this? And most of the time it's no, I don't want to tell anyone. It feels too uncomfortable. And so I choose not to eat it, but I don't have to report it. So if you have that commitment that you are going to follow through and report everything, then you will be able to make that decision to eat the right things and stick to that healthy eating or that workout, whatever it is you're struggling with. So, and then the second thing that I have them report is their workout. Because, that's also important every single day to get your exercise in, and it helps you stick to the health. And that's what we have them report. And then the third thing is a progress photo. Yes, I have them report those daily, because if you have to show somebody your tummy, you're probably going to be thinking about it all day long, thinking, I don't want to do that because it's not comfortable and I don't want it to be. Because if you're showing what your progress every single day, you're going to want to show progress and not, show a weight gain or something like that. So those are three things that I have people report daily. That's what I hold them accountable to. Sometimes people have different problems and need to report different things, but that kind of covers most of it. So I would say find something that you need to report about every single day and find someone to report it to, because then you'll be held accountable and follow through with what you said. So there's the three things to report daily: your workout, everything that enters your mouth, and progress photo. Okay, this I love to talk about this because it is such a big problem for people. Are you playing the blame game? Are you trapped in that? So I used to blame a lot of things on, that I'm doing my best, that it's just not my fault that I'm not reaching my goals. But then when I decided to take full accountability, even for those things that I didn't have control over, to take responsibility for my part in it, then it was actually quite freeing for me. One of the things that is fun to do is to pick this word apart. So if you just take this be by itself and this lame by itself, then what are you? If you're blaming one, you are being lame, right? Who wants to be lame? I don't. So I don't know how to clear that actually. Sorry. Okay, so when you are blaming other people, I have found that blaming makes you lame. And what does lame mean? Lame means that you are not able to walk, right? That's kind of the literal meaning of it. So when you're being lame, you're blaming yourself. I'm sorry. When you are blaming, you are laming yourself. That means you can't walk or move forward. You can't reach those goals because you can't move. So it's stopping you. Blame stops you in your tracks from reaching your goals. So I invite you to take accountability and respect yourself and live up to those things that you want to do and stop making excuses. One of my favorite sayings is stop finding excuses and start finding solutions, because there's always going to be a solution. Tip number 2. So I used to work out only when I felt like it. So I'd get up in the morning and I'd get my workout clothes on, and I would, start. If I felt like working out right then, I would go work out, and then sometimes I would just get caught up in the day-to-day stuff. And then I realized that maybe it was not the best. I should push myself a little more, but I would make excuses like, oh, I'm just tired today. I don't think I should work out because I need to conserve my energy, right? Do you guys ever do that, or is it just me? So I was doing that, and I would get busy cleaning and taking care of kids and stuff, and then the day would be half gone, and I would just get into my regular clothes and say, okay, I guess it's not happening today. But then I decided I was going to do this experiment. I was gonna note in the morning how I felt, and if I felt tired, I would say, okay, I feel tired today. And then later on in the day, I would note how I felt. And if I felt tired still, then I was still tired. I was just kind of taking note, looking at how I was feeling. And then I the days I worked out, even if I was tired and I pushed past that, I just was like, okay, I know I'm tired, but I'm still going to work out. Then I would evaluate myself later on in the day, and I had more energy. Consistently, every time I worked out, even though I was tired, I had more energy later on in the day. The days, even though I was tired and I didn't work out, I would still be tired later on in the day. So I noticed a huge trend with that. And then I also noticed that when I pushed myself a little harder, worked out a little harder, I was happier consistently those days. And so it was just kind of a little experiment that I did. And then after I did this experiment, because I did this a few years ago, I learned more about body language. And I learned that there's millions and millions or billions, I don't know how many, but lots of thoughts that we have and that rush through our body all the time. We only say a fraction of those thoughts. We only say some of those, but all of those thoughts have to be expressed through our body somehow. And I think that when we work out, we're able to express some of those, the more stressful thoughts and express them through our working out, especially if we're working out harder. And then they don't have to come out through our body language in, jerky movements because we're upset about something. Like, that just doesn't happen as much for me because I'm working out every single day and expressing those things in my workout. So if you want to be able to overcome some of those the emotions that you're having and get rid of them, I would highly recommend working out and maybe upping your level of working out so that your body doesn't need to do that anymore. Like, it doesn't have to express that anymore. Um, so, okay. Also, I wanted to say that have you ever, like, worked out and then right after you finished, even if you feel like, oh, I don't want to do this halfway through, but then, like, you feel like amazing and you just feel like you can conquer the world. Have you guys ever felt that before? I have, and that is called the exercise high. It's actually releasing endorphins that are like a high you get from drugs or something like that. Like, it's an actual thing. Like, it releases those endorphins into your body. And so you can, if you're happier and you have those endorphins rushing through your body, you're able to deal with life easier. But we know that, right? That's pretty common knowledge. So why? Because everyone has frustration. And like I told you through my story before, they're going to come out. And if you get them out of exercise, then you're going to more likely be able to overcome those frustrations. Okay, tip number 3. I think that having a plan and scheduling things is super important. I always have thought schedules. I just thought I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. Does anybody else get that? Am I the only one? I hope not, because that I really thought that. But when I realized that if I didn't schedule it, things weren't happening in my life. So it's a big thing to schedule your workout and not schedule things on top of it. So do it at a time of day when you're not going to have those distractions around you. So one of the things that throws me off the fastest is an ill-laid plan. Even still, if I don't make a good plan, it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't follow through. So the more pre-thought out and planned my preparations are, then they're more likely to happen. So I have a question for you. What is going to happen when you miss a day or a week of your workouts or your fitness plan? What's going to happen? If you miss a couple days, are you going to say, oh, okay, well, this week isn't going well. I'm just going to start again on Monday. Does that happen? I see it happen all the time to lots of people. So what are you going to do when that happens? Are you going to just keep pushing it out? Oh, I'll start next month. I'll start next week. Are you going to, if you miss something, are you going to keep pushing it off your schedule? Or are you going to actually figure out how to overcome that and start, even if it's in the middle of the week? I think key is to have a plan. So decide right now, are you going to wait, or are you going to just keep picking yourself up every single day and start over every single day, no matter what day of the week it is? That's what I recommend you doing. And then also, one thing that's really kept me on track is I have a workout partner. I have a friend who shows up to my house every single day. And she's super steady about this. So I would find somebody who you can rely on that is a steady kind of person that you can expect that either you show up at their house every day or they show up at your house every day to work out with you. Or you can report to each other every day. But it works best if they actually show up at your house because what are you going to say? I feel like working out today. I hope not. I hope you're going to just say, okay, let me grab my workout clothes. Let's get going. So that is huge, is having somebody who's actually going to be depending on you, and you're more likely to follow through. And then I also recommend setting up like a reward system for yourself. So, you know, give yourself a reward of doing something special if you have a certain number of workouts that you've done, so that you feel motivated, something that will motivate you. So something that's really fun, or maybe you want to buy a new pair of pants, or whatever it is that fits you in your life, then I recommend rewarding yourself. And then if you don't follow through, you don't get that reward. That helps motivate people, is having a reward. So, and overcoming addiction. So include in your plan when are you going to work out? What time of day? Where? Are you going to go to the gym? Are you going to work out at home? Are you going to go for a run? That's the how. And then with whom? Are you going to work out with somebody? Are you going to have somebody that's going to be showing up at your house every day? And then what are you going to be doing? What kind of workout is it that you're going to be doing? You need to have a plan for like every single day so you know what you're doing, so that doesn't stop you. Because that's a big thing that stops people, is they don't know what they're going to be doing. Okay. Now, so Misty says that seemed to help me in the past. Workout buddy. Yeah, it's so powerful. It helps me, and because I might not stick to my workout if I don't have somebody that shows up at my house. I still go with that sometimes. So I want to ask you again, what is going to happen when you hit this stop sign in your life, when you go on vacation and you come home and you don't feel like working out? What's going to happen? It's a good question to ask yourself. So figure that answer out. You need to decide for yourself. Are you going to do it or not? Are you going to have somebody showing up at your house that Monday after you got off your vacation? That's what I did, and I got right back. I even worked out on my vacation because I had my sister showing up at my condo every morning, and we worked out. So just you just don't do it alone. Okay, tip number 4. Fit women know that movement is an opportunity, not a chore. So I am blessed to have married into a family where my mother-in-law is super awesome, and she has maintained pretty much the same weight since she was in her 20s, which is pretty awesome. I mean, she gained weight when she was pregnant, but then she went back because and she is naturally thin, but that's not why she could gain weight. It's that she has had the point of view that movement is an opportunity, not a chore. And that a few years ago, when I first started having kids, I started noticing that she took every chance she could to jump up and play and run around and dance and do everything with the kids that she could. Like she didn't want to just sit there and like just watch them do it. She jumped up and did it, and I could tell that she was using that as an excuse to move. That she wasn't just going to be lazy and sit all the time. That she wanted to move because it was an opportunity. And so I wasn't that way at all. Like I was like, I'd rather just sit here and watch them have fun. And then I noticed that I'm like, I wonder if that's a key part of how come she's been able to stay fit for her whole life. Like, because she works out every day because she thinks movement is an opportunity. And so that's kind of, I incorporated that into my life. And now I try to take opportunities to move and to wrestle and to jump on the trampoline with the kids and just move every chance I can. That it's a fun thing, and that it will bring more energy into my life, not waste it. But it brings me energy. I think that's huge. Like just changing your point of view. that's all it is. Like, just view it differently, and it will become easier to see that every time you move, it's an opportunity. So it all starts with your attitude. All right, Leanna, that is all I have for my tip. Are you ready to go for yours? I First of all, I just want to say Leanna is so awesome. She was in my group a couple months ago, and I could tell she was dedicated. But you know what is awesome about her? She was in my group, and I was the one that was supposed to be mentoring her. But you know what happened? She mentored me, and I learned a lot from her. So I think she's just amazing, and she knows her stuff, and she knows how to help you with your nutrition, and she knows uh, a lot about the best options for your food. So I think I think the world of her. So listen up to her awesome tips so that we can all learn a little bit of something. All right, Leanna, I don't see your picture anymore. I don't even hear you. Does anybody else hear Leanna? Okay. Hmm. So it looks like nobody else is hearing you, Leanna. I don't know what's going on. Maybe type into the chat what you want me to do, Leanna. How about um how about I open it up for question and answers for a minute while she figures it out? Is that okay? So um you can either type them in. Rachel said, "Is she showing us the value of taking rest?" I think maybe so. Okay, so you guys can put type in your answer or put your hand up and I can unmute you, and then we can, if there's any questions or even suggestions like things you've learned, so that we can just kind of share with each other because I think everybody has something that we can learn from. So we're open for questions. So Rachel said, do you have any advice on how to eat better and exercise when dealing with very young children? So yes, I started my journey when I only had one little kid. Um, that's when I realized I needed to start paying attention to my health. And then I had a pregnancy. So before this pregnancy, I was not taking care of myself. And I had the pregnancy and I started, but then it didn't last because I hadn't established those routines yet. And I had a very more hard pregnancy than my other one because I was not healthy. And then after I had her, I really dove into health, and then I had another child and stayed with my exercise and healthy eating, and had a very easy pregnancy, and you know lost the weight really quickly because I didn't really gain much with the pregnancy. So yes, I know how to do it with little children. One of the things is get your family involved. Start having them eat the same foods as you. Don't feed yourself differently than everyone else. Um, and it might take if you have it might take a while to get them on board. So like I would start it out with just doing like 2 meals a week that were uh, more healthy, and to get them used to it, and they're probably didn't eat so much on those days. But then I started increasing the amounts of healthy, and then it's just been a long process of really getting them on board. And now, for the most part, they want to choose healthy foods. They eat those things that I cook that are healthy. So just start letting your kids try the healthy stuff. They say it takes 20 times for them to actually like something sometimes. So just don't give up and set the example, because they watch you. That's huge. Kids watch you more than they follow what you say. So, right, is there any more questions? Okay, Rachel's got to put her baby to bed. um, Thanks for getting on, Rachel, and I'm sure we'll send you the recording so you can watch the rest later. And Miss says that she agrees that they watch you. That's for sure. That's what I teach my kids. Like, other people are going to watch you more than they listen. So if you want people to do what you're doing, just do it. Does anybody have any suggestions, things they've learned that they'd like to share with the group? Okay. I need to. It looks like you are showing up as a presenter. Um, so I don't know how to do that because it shows you as a presenter, Leanna. It says you have a weak connection. Can you call in on the number on your phone so that we can hear you and then you can walk me through it? Okay. I made you a presenter. Does that work?
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yay! Sorry about all that. Okay, can everyone?
I think people can. So, nope.
Okay. Okay, I might not be able to put my microphone on at the same time, so can you hear me?
I can at the moment, but I think you're kind of going in and out. So just do the best you can, I guess.
Okay. I'm going in and out. Okay.
You're
All right.
good right now, so go with it.
Can you hear me? Okay.
I can.
All right. I'm sorry about the confusion. Can everyone else hear me? Oh, awesome. Okay. Misty can hear me. Can anybody else hear me? Okay. All right. So I just won't be able to have the camera, so I apologize for that. Julie, you're like the beautiful one on the camera today. So, all right. So, my presentation is all about. It's more about the nutrition part of things, and just my little girl is. Okay, so mine is. It's mastering your health one bite at a time is usually what I call this one. And I just like to talk a little bit about me and tell you where I am and where I've come from so that you understand. You understand my background. So this is my family here on the picture. I am a mother of 4 beautiful kids, and I have been married for 15 years this August. Woohoo! Celebrate that. I'm so excited. So, and I am a certified foot zonologist. I'm probably the only person that will tell you that they love your feet. I love feet. So probably, I don't think anybody else will ever say that to you, but I will. So if you ever want your feet rubbed, I welcome you to call me and get that done, because I will love it, and it will help. I've been a certified foot zonologist. The technique is actually called Zone Balance, and I've done that for 8 years. I love helping others raise their quality of life through mentoring, teaching, and foot zoning. I love being able to teach you actually raise your quality of life, because your health is everything. You can't do anything unless you have your health. You won't enjoy your life. You can't play with your kids like you want. You can't do the things that you love a lot of times unless you have your health. So I love being able to teach people how to be healthy and be able to raise their quality of life and see that happen. It's just awesome. So a few of the things that I've been able to help people specifically overcome are anxiety, panic attacks, food allergies, lack of energy, lack of food poisoning, circulation, hydrocephalus, depression. Those are some of the things that I've specifically worked with some of my clients. So, and then the last thing is, I am learning every day just like you. So it's a process, a learning process that we all go through. We all are. There's so many things. I don't think we could learn everything and know everything ever. So we're all learning, especially me. So I love to hear from you after this is over, because I can learn from you. So I'd love to hear from you and hear what your gold nuggets were. So, all right, we'll go to the next one. So this picture is a picture of me and my son. This is my 3rd child, and he was my blessing in disguise. And I say that because he's the one that got me to do everything that I do up to this point. He was diagnosed with hydrocephalus at the age of 1. He was a really good baby, but when he turned 1, he started throwing up. He would have weird bowel movements. He wouldn't sleep. He'd walk into walls. He's just doing all of these weird things. And that was the hydrocephalus, which is water on the brain that caused some disorientation for him. But it was also, he was diagnosed with allergies to all dairy and pork products. So, with that, we were going to the doctors. We were at primary 3 times.
Leanna, I think you're cutting out a little bit. Maybe just try to keep going and we'll see.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay. All right. Just type in if I start cutting out, so I know maybe I need to go to a different part of it. Let me know. That would be nice. Thank you. Okay, so this was my way of, God was basically telling me, I believe, he was guiding me more to a holistic field, saying, this is, Leanna, this is where your talents are, this is where you can help people, and this is why I chose to do foot zoning. Foot zoning was actually what helped me diagnose my son with the allergies and some of the other things, and helped us take care of that, where the medical field really wasn't giving me answers. So that's the way that I chose, and I feel like is where my talents are. And in the midst of all of this with my son, I became very sick myself because of stress. I got a really, really bad case of acid reflux, which went all the way up my throat and burned my tonsils. And every doctor I went to thought I had strep throat because my tonsils and my throat were so raw and just disgusting looking. And so this is kind of how I learned that I need to adjust my eating habits and my habits as well, with food and with everything, really, with my stress level. I needed to be able to take care of that. So as you can imagine, our family went through a shift, and this is kind of what we looked like. How do we do this? We had to let go of all dairy and pork forms of sugar and implement an alkaline diet. So we were kind of scared. I don't know if you guys have ever felt like that, when you know you need to change something and it's scary because you don't know what to do about it, but you know you can do it. There's always a way. So kind of how I felt. So we had a big learning curve. And so this is kind of the learning curve that number B, that was kind of my big learning curve. I had a big learning curve at first, and it's not always like that. You know, this is how we want our learning curve to be, like straight up. This is how our body and our mind want the learning curve to go. They're like, no, stay here, this works comfortable. We like the comfort zone. But you know, if you're in the comfort zone, nothing will change. So it's important to remember that it's okay if your learning curve is different from somebody else's, but we do need to do something to change, or else we won't get a new result. So everyone's learning curve is different, and this is why I love teaching people what I do, because since everybody's body is different and everybody's learning curve is different, everybody is going to implement the tools a different way. So I just absolutely love that. So you can tailor these tools and these tips to what's best for you. You know, because you're going to learn different than somebody else. So my tip number 5, my first tip, is eat an alkaline diet. Now, what is an alkaline diet? What is it? An alkaline diet is being able to balance your body's pH through eating alkaline foods. So alkaline is actually talking about the pH of the body. So, and pH stands for potential hydrogen. So you're actually talking about how many hydrogen atoms are in the cells of your body, every cell. And usually people can refer or picture that as, when you think of alkaline, you think of a battery. There's the battery in the car that fires really fast and short lasting, and then there's the batteries that you put in your flashlight, the alkaline batteries in your flashlight that last a long time. They burn slow and cool. Well, our body's cells fire the same way, and when we eat acid foods, which is pretty much the American diet, you know, the French fries, the hamburgers, all the sugar that's put in the food, all that stuff is pretty acidic, the chemicals. And when we're eating that way, we cause our body to be acidic. And I'll tell you why this is really an important thing. So let's see. Go to the next slide here. This man is Dr. Otto Warburg, and he was a biochemist in the early 1900s, and he did a study in 1931 on an alkaline cell. And this is what he says. He says, all normal cells have an absolute requirement for oxygen, but cancer cells can live without oxygen, a rule without exception. Deprive a cell 35% of its oxygen for 48 hours and it may become cancerous. Dr. Warburg has made it that the root cause of cancer is oxygen deficiency. Oh my goodness! This creates an acid state in a human body. Dr. Warburg also discovers that cancer cells are anaerobic, they do not breathe oxygen, cannot survive in the presence of high levels of oxygen as found in an alkaline state. So an alkaline cell is actually a very, very oxygen-rich cell. So let me ask you guys, what does oxygen do for our bodies? You can just type in a little answer, hit the bottom. It helps us to live. Good job, Julie. Yeah, so oxygen is so important. The more oxygen we have, the more energy we have. So Julie's here is teaching you about exercise. Exercise is actually one way to alkalinize the body because we bring in more oxygen. We have to release the carbon dioxide. So we also do this with our food. So this is important because the more oxygen we have, yes, and Misty, you're right on. It helps balance our pH. Awesome. Yeah, so the more oxygen we have in our body, the more energy and the more live the cells in our body can be. When a cell is deprived of oxygen, which is in an acid state, if your cells are acidic, they actually cannot take in oxygen. They just can't do it. So when you are at a pH of 6 or below, you have your cells are starving for oxygen, and they actually mutate to a cancer cell so that they will be able to survive and live. So it's very important to eat an alkaline diet with all the other things that we are exposed to in our world here of GMOs and processing and chemicals and the environment and everything. We can help our bodies so much by controlling what we eat, by putting alkaline foods in our diet. So let's see, what are the alkaline foods? So this is the 80-20 rule. So this is how you know how to eat an alkaline diet, okay? So the 80-20 rule is 80% alkaline foods and 20% acid foods. And the alkaline foods are your dark leafy greens, your root vegetables that are grown in the ground. Alkaline foods are very mineral-rich foods. So you will have the roots and the nuts and seeds. The alkaline grains, which are also your gluten-free grains, your millet, your buckwheat, your amaranth, your quinoa. All of those are really, really good alkaline grains, and they actually have quite a bit of protein in them as well. So they'd be really, really good after your workout. Also, any living food is very, very alkaline. When it's living, that means that that you have like skyrocketed your nutrition by like 200%. It's awesome. So it's great to eat foods right off the vine. Pick them and just eat them. Also, your raw organic foods are awesome alkaline foods. Now, your acid foods are going to be your sugar, your fruit, your processed foods, your GMO foods, and your foods grown with pesticide chemicals. Now, your fruit is actually, we do need some acidic foods in our diet so that our cells can spin enough to take in the nutrition. So our fruits are very, very good for you, even though they are acidic. So that completes my tip number 5. I just want to just let you know, I would love to support you if you want to. I teach a lot of classes on this subject, so if you'd like to know more, I would love to help you. So you can just email me at this email soulrenewal.lc@gmail.com, and I would love to help you learn more about that. Okay, my tip number 6 is hydration. We need to hydrate our bodies. Our bodies are made of 70% water. And there was actually a study done, I can't remember exactly which study or where it was, but I know there was a study done with newborns and old people. And they said that when we're born with 70% water in our body, but the majority of us, when we die, when we pass away, or when we get older, we have only about 50% of water in our body. So we have gone from a place, oh, Julia, I'm making you thirsty. I'm sorry. You have to get a big glass of water when this is over. But, yeah, so when we're older, we actually dehydrate ourselves because either our body isn't absorbing the water or we're not drinking enough throughout our lifetime. So this is the general rule you always hear about, is 8 glasses a day. So this is really good if you have a hard time drinking water. This is a very good rule to start with, is 8 glasses a day. But if you really want to get the amount of water that you need, you really need about half your body weight in ounces. So I suggest that you at least try the half your body weight in ounces. Try that for this next week, and just see if you can do it, and measure it. Maybe every time, I always tell people, every time you go in the kitchen, just get a glass of water and drink it. And you'll be surprised how easy it is if you just do that. So, and then there's one other thing. If you are exercising a lot and you're sweating a lot, like maybe this summer or when it's really hot, or you're using essential oils or participating in a therapy that releases lots of toxins, then you actually need to drink more water. So, so this is awesome. And Julie, she says she downs a glass of water instead of sipping. That's awesome. That's a great tip. Just down it. Just gulp it. So being well hydrated will help clean out the toxins in your body. It will help you look younger, because actually, you know, when you're dehydrated and your organs are dehydrated, is actually, you can see it on people's faces. It comes in the form of wrinkles and lines. So this will actually help you look younger and get rid of your wrinkles and feel energized, because you're getting the hydration that you need and the oxygen also from your water. So awesome. Okay, tip number 7 is getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Now you guys have probably heard that song or that saying, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Well, I truly believe this. This is such a great statement, because it does. You actually, when the sun comes up, if you're outside, it will actually stimulate hormones in your body to help wake your body up and give you more energy to last throughout the day. And the same thing if you're outside when the sun goes down. The sun will actually stimulate hormones as it goes down to help you relax and get that serotonin stuff going in your body so you can go to sleep. So this is really key. We really should be rising and going to bed with the sun, and that will help you get better sleep, and it will help you to relax and feel rejuvenated for the next day. So this is really an important thing, because when you don't get enough sleep, you're actually at high risk for heart disease. So it takes a toll on your body when you don't get the rejuvenation and restoration that your body needs through sleep. So, okay, so the next tip number 8. This is a daily grounding, a daily grounding ritual. So this is what I love to do, because we've got our sleep, we've got our nutrition, we've got our exercise. Now, Naomi says she struggles with eating early. How do you create the habit? We'll talk about this after at the question answer. So if you guys have questions, awesome. And we'll do that in a question answer at the very end. So tip number 8, so the daily grounding rituals. So now this is anything that makes you feel connected to God and yourself. Now I find it really, really important in the morning if I don't do something for myself or I don't make myself feel connected and with myself. If I am not grounded with myself or connected to my higher power or God, then I don't get as much done during the day. I'm not focused. I'm just kind of flighty. And I don't know if you guys have that problem or if that's just me, but I think it's pretty common. So these are just some ideas that I use first thing in the morning to get myself grounded and focused and ready to take on everything that I need to do during the day, because man, I have a lot to do almost every day and it is hard to get it all done if I'm not grounded. So in the right corner, there's some feet in the grass. So this is a great way. I love connecting with nature. And one of the ways you can do that is go outside and stand in the grass. Stand in the grass and just soak up the sun or soak up the morning, brisk morning air and just feel grounded. Picture yourself being connected to the earth. Another thing is journaling. Journaling is an excellent way to just get rid of any negative emotion or vibration out in the morning. Or it's also a good way to write down your inspiration, your thoughts, so that you can remember them. And that's a good way to get connected with myself. I've found a lot of golden nuggets just journaling in the morning. So the next thing is prayer. Praying to my Heavenly Father. That really helps me to get grounded and focused and be able to conquer any task that I have. It helps me to feel like I have those extra angels around me, carrying me and lifting me to the next thing that I have to do, and to be able to get through the hard stuff that happens during the day and feel inspired. So then we have exercise. Julie, this is an awesome way when getting up first thing in the morning and doing your exercise. And Julie also talked about how it releases negative emotion. You can get that out through your exercise. And boy, don't we feel better? Don't we feel better when we work our body and get it moving and get that circulation, that oxygen flowing? We just feel so much better. Okay, and then I had to put a foot in there because the feet are our foundation. Now it doesn't have to be foot zoning that you do, but it could be, getting a massage, or it could be meditation, or it could be going to the chiropractor, or it could even be brushing your teeth. Just some kind of therapy or something that you do that makes you feel clean inside and out, feel better. So, and then I liked this saying, so I put this up there. Being out in nature reminds me of everything is going to be okay. So that's just me connecting with nature again. And so this grounding ritual would be just something small and simple that you can do every day, just to help you be focused and grounded. And I love that. It's one of my favorite things I do. All right, so this next tip number 9, is loving yourself. And Julie and we both absolutely love this one. There's the last 2 tips we wanted to do together because we both think it's so important. So for me, it says, when my tank is full, my capacity to serve is greater, and I find myself being a better mom to my kids, a better wife to my husband, a better volunteer in the community. I'm more patient, I'm more loving, I'm more kind, I'm definitely more forgiving because I'm not so stressed, my stress level goes down, and my body and my mind are actually healthier as well. My body, it creates health in my body when I love myself, and it helps me appreciate who I am. And then I actually want to exercise, and I feel good about who I am because I'm taking care of myself. And I honestly tell myself when I'm doing that, I can honestly say that I love myself. And if you're really honest with yourself, ask yourself, do you really love yourself? Do you really love who you are? Do you really love who you're becoming? And if the answer is no, then these tips are going to be really important, because you need to be able to learn how to take care of yourself and do things that make you feel good inside and out. And that's the only way we can fulfill who we are going to be, who God wants us to be, is by loving ourselves, because when we love ourselves, we can love everybody else even better. So Julie, I'm going to let you give your tip on this one too before we go to the next one. What do you think?
Okay. Awesome. I loved what you said. I agree 100%, but I think that it can go both ways. So loving yourself is super important, and I think everyone knows that. So just like they tell you about the oxygen mask in an airplane, you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. It's the same. You have to love yourself before you can love other people. Like, it's not the amount that you love yourself, that's how much you can love other people. You don't have more capacity than what you love yourself. And so it's important to love yourself so that you can love others more. And then I also think that it goes both ways, what you said. When you're exercising, you're taking care of yourself, and it's easier to exercise when you love yourself. Well, it can be the other way too, where if you start to exercise and you're not 100% in love with yourself yet, but you're starting to exercise because you know that it's the right thing to do, you'll start to love yourself more because you're showing yourself those actions of love. You're creating that love in yourself by taking care of yourself, eating healthy, doing the right things to take care of yourself, and that love will grow so that you are appreciative and feel that gratitude for your body and that you've been given. So that's kind of my thoughts on it, that even if you're not there yet and you don't love yourself 100%, if you start doing those actions to show yourself that you love yourself, then that will be created inside of you.
That's awesome. I totally agree. So it can go either way. You can work from it at both ends. So that's awesome. Okay. Well, our last and final tip for you guys today, number 10. Keep going. Don't give up. We have so much to do, and you know what? There's always going to be obstacles come up. It's kind of like that picture of me and my kids where we're like, and it's hard to keep going sometimes when those obstacles come up. But you know that you are bigger than those obstacles, and you can, if you just keep moving and thinking about the positive things that you're doing and how they are helping you. I think tracking what you're doing so that you can see the progress will be so important, and keep going. And one thing that has really helped me keep going, and when it has been so hard to change, when I was changing my diet, my family was very negative, and I actually had a comment from my mom that said that I was psychologically ruining my kids pretty much. She didn't say it like that, but she said it nicer than that. But that's pretty much what she was saying, and it was very hurtful to me. And comments like that can stop. But what I realized was that what I was doing, I knew was the right thing, and I just needed to keep going. And the thing that helped me was to see the accomplishment that my kids were making, and the accomplishment of our health growing and feeling better, and seeing that our skin was clearing up and that our kids were being healthier. And that gave me, when I could see the improvement and I could see the progress, that gave me accomplishment energy. And that accomplishment energy will help you keep going to see past what other people say or what other people comment. And, you know, a lot of times they make those comments because they can't get past that point. And you can. And they, you know, people like to drag you down. It's like the crabs in the bottom of the pot. If you have a crab, and if you have two crabs in a pot, one will climb out and then the other one will pull the crab back down. And they don't ever climb out because you could have them in a shallow pot, but they don't ever climb out because they'll just keep pulling each other down. And that's kind of what we do sometimes. So don't be the crab that pulls everyone down. Be the crab that climbs out and escapes and gets to that higher level. Just keep going because you can do it. You guys are amazing. So I'm going to turn the time over to Julie to see what she has to say about this tip because I know she has some really good insight.
Awesome. Thank you. I love that. That's a great image. I agree. Like, don't give up. So one of the things that we can remember is we are what we repeatedly do, just like Aristotle said. So if we keep going, even though it's like tiny steps every day and you don't even really see what you're doing, that you just make these little tiny improvements, even if it's just one meal a week that you've changed or one time a week that you exercised, and you just keep adding that and adding and adding and getting better and better, it compounds over time. Just like a penny, if you saved a penny and it doubled every single day, you'd have like $1 million. I can't remember the exact amount, but it compounds. That your efforts, you make one tiny effort one day and one more tiny effort the next day, it compounds over time. So even though it doesn't seem like you've made a lot of progress, just remember that in your mind, that you know that you've made this little tiny improvement that day, and it's okay. Like, over time, you'll make huge improvements. It's been a long journey for me and I'm still on it. Like, there's still things I need to improve, and I can see that more and more as I get further along, that I'm still going. So it's the same as for you. Like, I know that might sound daunting, that this journey is a long journey, but it's okay. Just take it a day at a time and know that those efforts you're making every single day do count. They count and they matter. So just keep doing it. Keep going.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you. It really is the baby steps that will get you to where you want to be. It's not the big leaps, it's the baby steps. So we've got to remember it's the tiny little baby steps. So every baby step you take, you are moving forward and you're progressing. You know, that makes me think of another story. If you guys don't mind me just saying one more story. I'm a runner, and so one day I went running and I wasn't really particularly in the mood for it. And I remember I went over by the pond. They have a gravel road there, and I was running along the pond and I thought, you know, I'm tired. I want to stop. So I started to walk instead. And as I was walking, I had this thought come to my head that said, you know what? I could crawl, I could walk, I could run as fast as I can, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how fast I go, because no matter if I'm crawling or baby stepping, walking or running or sprinting, I'm still moving forward. It's not stopping, it's still moving forward. Even if you're in a moment where you have to baby crawl, you're still moving forward. So that's really awesome. Thank you, Julie. Thank you for that. All right, so now we would like to open up we'd like to open this up for discussion. So if you guys have a question you'd like to ask, we'd love to answer that. We could take maybe one question for Julie and one question for me. So just type in the bottom if you have a question and we'll answer it. In fact, I think Naomi had a question earlier.
About getting up early.
Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, so how did I create the habit of getting up early? So, okay, so this is kind of interesting. Naomi, I had to make a determination to do it. So what I did was first thing I tried to go to bed early. So I tried to go to bed by like 10 o'clock. And I noticed that if I went to bed at 10 o'clock, that was a pretty good time to give me enough rest to be able to wake up at 5 in the morning. I usually woke up at 5, and then first thing I did was go outside and I would exercise. And when you're outside, your pineal gland is stimulated, and it will actually help you get your days and nights right. People that have midnight jobs or work all night and sleep all day, their inner clock is messed up. And sometimes we can mess up our clock as well, just staying up too late and sleeping in too early. So a good way to switch that is to just be up when the sun comes up and be outside when the sun goes down. And it will help us to switch being outside. But making an early bedtime and then just being determined to wake up when your alarm clock goes off, just getting out of bed no matter how tired you are, and get outside. So that's my advice on that.
Can I share something that helped me?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I never liked getting up early. Like, it was really hard for me. I thought I needed a lot of sleep to have enough energy, and so I just felt like it didn't work for me to get up early. But then what I did is I put my phone and alarm across the room so that I had to get up to turn it off. But then I also, on top of that, instead of just, like pulling myself out of bed and like groggily walking over there, I decided to jump out of bed. The first time I almost passed out, but then after that I was okay. But jumping out of bed got my blood flowing so that I couldn't go back to bed, even if I wanted to. Like, I was up, So I just jump out of bed, go get my alarm, turn it off, and then I was up for the day. Like, it totally woke me up just by jumping out of bed. But then I also think that if you have something that you are going to do at that time, and that it won't happen any other time of day, like this is the time of day you're going to be doing that, that certain routine that you're going to be doing, and determine that it has to be done. Put a lot of weight on this activity that you're going to do. And then your mind will say, I have to get up because I can't get this done any other time of day. Like, your brain will just see that commitment and it will not let you go back to sleep. That really helped me. Like I said, this is what I've got to do. I can't do it any other time of day. I've got to get up and do it right now. And I'm like, if I don't, then I'm going to be busy and I'm not going to get it done. So my brain just made me say, I know you're tired, but you got to get this done. So I hope that helps. What do you think, Naomi? Did that help you? Awesome.
That's awesome, Julie. I love it. I love it. It's getting that oxygen into your blood so you can't go back to sleep. That's awesome. Yeah. Is there any more questions?
I have a question if no one else does.
Okay.
Go for it, Julie. Okay. I have a question. So your son has the dairy allergy. And we're always taught through the traditional eating ways that you don't get enough calcium unless you're drinking milk and all that kind of stuff. How do you get enough calcium without drinking milk? Like, me and my daughter don't drink milk because we're both allergic to it, but I'm noticing that maybe we're having calcium problems, I'm thinking, because we're not getting enough calcium, but I eat leafy vegetable stuff. So how do you get enough calcium?
So my suggestion is, so we don't drink milk either. Milk has a lot of synthetic vitamins and stuff in it, and so it's really not good for anybody to drink. But so what we do is the dark greens are really, really good, like you said. But sesame seeds are your calcium. They're the most bioavailable form of calcium that you can have. So I would make, you take like 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds, or a half a cup or a fourth of a cup, however thick or concentrated you want it. Put it in some water, blend it up, make a milk out of that. And I'd use that in your cereals or in your yogurts, or and drink that. You need about 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds a day, and this will also help you. Oh, I was going to say, this will also help you like heal from any injuries in your body. Like a lot of people have sciatic problems, and this will actually help to heal those, because they're not healing because they're not getting the calcium and the minerals that they need. So
Okay.
sesame seeds for calcium.
Okay. So is that like tahini? Is tahini something different, like has more spices in it?
You know, I don't know what it is about tahini, but there's something in tahini that's not good. I've tried using it and I get reactions. You should not have any allergic reactions to sesame seeds if they're organic. And so tahini, I had a reaction to it, so I know there's something in there that is not good. So I don't recommend that. I just recommend the raw sesame seeds.
Cool.
So
I'll try it. Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll close. We want to, before we close, Julie and I have a, we both want to have an offer for you guys, because we want to be able to stay in touch with you and support you through your journeys and answer your questions and just be there, because everyone needs a support system. It will help us be more successful in everything that we do. So, Julie, why don't you go ahead and offer yours first, and then I'll close.
Okay, awesome. So one of the things that I talked about was taking opportunities to move. And so I know that a lot of people spend a lot of time sitting, and a lot of people work and have a hard time getting enough movement in during their day. And so I created a little series of videos that are just 5 videos that are 3-minute little workouts that aren't necessarily considered workouts, because you don't get all sweaty with them. Like, they're more isometric, so it gets you tense your muscles and keep them tense for a while. And anyway, it helps you get your blood pumping again enough that you're getting more blood movement and oxygen to your muscles and body. So I would like to share those with you and send those to you for free. And just by taking your time today, I want to give those to you if you'll take them. So that's my
Awesome.
offer for you.
So are you just going to email them that?
Yes, I will email them to you.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Julie. Okay, my offer is here. I just really want love. I want to support you in your journey of healing. So if you want to email me, here is my email. You can also join me on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram, I have recipes and meals that I've made and some thoughts. And so that's a good place to go and actually look at pictures of meals I've made. You can also get on Facebook and join me at Soul Renewal, and then you can join my list and you will receive a video series as well. They're about 10 to 15 minutes. I think actually right now my longest one is 12 minutes. So you can find the video series there, and it will be talking about my 5 top alkaline foods and my 5 top healing herbs. So you'll get emailed one per week if you sign up to join my list on Facebook. Also, remember at the beginning of mine, I told you that I wanted you to email me because I love learning from you. So I would love if you wanted to email me also and tell me your golden nugget from today. And if you would like to do that, I would love to give you a free personal one-on-one mentoring session. So that is my offer to you. I hope that helps and that you will take advantage of these really awesome opportunities. So is there anything else you want to say, Julie?
No, I think that's great. Awesome.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining Julie and I on the webinar today. And Julie, thank you so much for joining me and being my guest speaker today. You've been awesome, and you've given us a lot of really, really valuable information. So thank you, everybody, and we will hopefully hear from you soon. Thanks.
Thank you, Leanna.
Bye.